Jim Broxson.
James Broxson. Yeah. Got a long name, it's a long story, but James is well known by. Thank you for having me. I'm a candidate for District 4, the water district. I'm a lifelong resident of Santa Rosa County, a lifelong resident of District 4. I'm a product of our local schools. I'm proud to call Santa Rosa County my home. I'm married to my wife, Rachel. She's a registered nurse. Together we have 2 small children. Michael's 10. He attends Harmon Moore Intermediate School, and my daughter Ava is 5, and she's going into kindergarten. Rachel and I currently own and operate 3 successful small businesses, all located in Navarre. JRMA Investments is just a small investment firm. Broxson Outdoors Fishing Charters, and my flagship retail business, which is Broxson Outdoors, located on Highway 98. My goal and motivation for this seat is to provide the citizens of this county and my district with the representation and transparency they deserve from somebody who has a legitimate vested interest in our community. As a small business owner, I'm on the front lines every day, and I hear it from our citizens, and I hear it from other small business owners. So I want to give us a fresh perspective. I know what it's like to have to operate within the confines of the budget and do so successfully. I know the value of a dollar. As a small business owner, I know what it's like to meet payroll. And these are the kind of qualities that I want to bring to our county. I believe in honest, open leadership from community leaders that have a history of being ethical and financially responsible. I want to provide our citizens with that representation. On that end, I want to push for more afternoon meetings. That way that citizens have the opportunity to come voice their opinions on issues that are important to them, not just 9 o'clock Monday and Thursday morning meetings. I don't think that's right. So I want to bring my business experience as well as my leadership capability to Santa Rosa County.
The first one, and everybody knows this is the hot topic, and it probably was going to be brought up tonight, but the hottest topic in Santa Rosa County is the Judicial Center, which right now has 3 sites scheduled to be on the November ballot. So would you make a motion to pull the P Ridge property that will cost taxpayers over $3 million for purchase and infrastructure off the consideration list and add the Santa Rosa County-owned East Milton property by the jail?
No, it's very important because, we're all taxpayers in Santa Rosa County, and I think that's a lot of our problems. We always think north and south, and we have to start thinking that we're one cohesive unit and push forward for Santa Rosa County. When it comes to the issue of the courthouse, I do not believe that we need to purchase another piece of property. I don't think it's right. I think we should be responsible and use the resources that we already have available to us. Towards that, you want me to know about the location, which location I prefer? Right now, I think we need more information. Either the East Milton, the Byron property, or the downtown Milton property. I think they both have their benefits, but I would like to get more information. I know the downtown Milton, that would act as a hub for a lot of businesses and some development. In downtown Milton, I think that would be beneficial.
Okay. And the second question was about the TDC.
The TDC, I think it does need to be supervised by the county. I don't agree with adding more county employees, but the simple fact that when I go to those meetings, I like hearing the difference of opinions from other business owners or people that have vested interest in our community. I think that's how you get a lot of the best ideas, not somebody that's just a government employee. I think whenever you get a group of people that are working and have some proverbial skins in the game, and it matters to them, it matters to their business, it matters to their community, I think that's when the best ideas come out.
Okay, and the last one was long, but what experience do you have to bring to the table to help solve those problems if elected?
Leadership ability. I know what it's like to have to solve problems. We do that every day. I don't know, I can't pick up the phone and call the governor. I don't think that we always need people like that in office. I think that's the problem. A lot of times politicians get too political. I don't think that's right to be able to call and press buttons. I like to look at a problem with a fresh set of eyes. And let's attack that problem in a different angle than just calling somebody in Tallahassee. Let's look at it from the Santa Rosa County perspective instead of the bigger government perspective.
Thank you, James. And, and this has been another hot topic in Santa Rosa County for several years, is the TDC, Tourist Development Council. When you, as a re-elected county commissioner or a newly elected commissioner, disband the Tourist Development TDC and abolish any and all taxes collected for this, including the position of TDC director.
The TDC, I think it does need to be supervised and by the county. I don't agree with adding more county employees, but the simple fact that when I go to those meetings, I like hearing the difference of opinions from other business owners or people that have vested interest in our community. I think that's how you get a lot of the best ideas, not somebody that's just a government employee. I think whenever you get a group of people that are working and have some proverbial skins in the game, and it matters to them, it matters to their business, it matters to their community, I think that's when the best ideas come out.
Okay, and the last one was long, but what experience do you have to bring to the table to help solve those problems if elected?
Leadership ability. I know what it's like to have to solve problems. We do that every day. I don't know, I can't pick up the phone and call the governor. I don't think that we always need people like that in office. I think that's the problem. A lot of times, politicians get too political. I mean, I don't think that's right to be able to call and press buttons. I like to look at a problem with a fresh set of eyes. And let's attack that problem in a different angle than just calling somebody in Tallahassee. Let's look at it from the Santa Rosa County perspective instead of the bigger government perspective.
Thank you, James. Director, then, please.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, I'm Ruth Dupont Esser. I've been living here since I was 24 years old. I have 4 children, 5 grandchildren, and thank God I have that wonderful husband right there because he's about killed himself helping me in this campaign. I put my name in this hat thinking, okay, I think I have a lot to offer to our county. I'm college educated. I have 2 degrees, one in the medical field and one in industrial psychology. I've worked running a large construction company that I put together from ground up, and it will help a lot when I answer the last question. I work with the hospital, Baptist Hospital. I'm their physician's liaison, and just 2 weeks ago I lost 50 more doctors. So I'm watching Obamacare unroll on us at a very fundamental level. But the things that I can do are not the reason that I put my name in this hat. Believe me, I have the skills needed for that seat and then some. I feel totally confident that I would be a commissioner that would stand solid, that would know what I needed to do, and that would be highly accountable. I will be a person that you can call. You can call me at midnight, and I'm going to get up and go out and tend to what I need to tend to. I'm going to answer those calls. I'm going to look out after you. I'm going to have the county meetings. I'm going to have the town hall meetings. I am going to be busy as your servant, which is what a commissioner is supposed to be. Supposed to be your employee. But that's not why I'm putting my name in the hat. I'm putting my name in the hat because this country is falling off a cliff. It's called the cliff of socialism. And I'm scared to death of what we're about to be held accountable for leaving to our children and our grandchildren. You see, if we don't get this straight real quick, we're going to get to explain to them what America used to be like. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my children to be little socialists, because that's not freedom. Socialism has never, ever resulted in quality of life. We're losing the very right to praise God in our schools and in our houses, because there's this freedom from religion movement that's happening in our country. We have people who are still asleep, who still don't realize that Common Core and Obamacare and the anti-religion movement and the anti-energy movement, and you just keep naming them, are all connected. And that they're all a piece of us losing what we have, which is America. I think in order to take this country back, it's going to take citizens from the bottom to the top to do it. And I think it's going to take people who have the right interests at heart, not to serve ourselves, but to serve something larger. You see, that's what the United States stands for. We're patriots. I'm a part of the Navarre Tea Party. And patriots have always stood up when tyrants tried to take down this country. And we're having to do it again. And it's going to take all of you voting. It's going to take all of us running. It's going to take us sitting down at night and saying a prayer to Jesus himself and asking him to help us to learn what it is that we can do so that we can bring this country back to its roots.
Okay. The first question, of course, is about the Judicial Center.
I do not like the Pea Ridge site. I've never liked it, and here's why. Number one, the traffic studies will never pass. You're going to have to put an ambulance next to the building. There's going to be wrecks like crazy. They're so congested there. But the biggest reason I don't like it is because whoever negotiated that thing, my God, they're a bad negotiator. We're paying way too much for that land, getting way too little for it. We've already done that deal. We did it with the Pula land. I don't want that for us. That's not what we're supposed to do. There are free lands that we can get. We already have the Byron property. You offered it for free. You know, the jail property. We need to put that thing somewhere that's free.
Okay, and the second question was the TEC.
Now that one I have a hard time with because part of me believes that we shouldn't grow our government, but the other part of me thinks, well, but it's our county taxes that person has got their hands into to spend. And so I kind of battle with that one, but because it is tax dollars, and because, right now we have Commissioner Joe Melvin that's done a wonderful job of taking that thing under control. But what about when we don't have Commissioner Joe Melvin? I kind of think that maybe we ought to take that thing on in the House and run it for him.
Okay, and the third question, which you said you could answer, so you know what it is.
Yes. Okay, that is where my experience is at. I built Avalon Landing RV Park. It took me 4 years to work through the regulations just to build the first portion of it, and another 3 years to negotiate with DEP after giving away $35,000 in order to be able to develop 3 acres of 7 for no other reason except that Mr. Jack put a little topsoil out there that he got from the Moore's Golf Course and he put some picture plants. I know drainage, and I know it well. I've built about 70 subdivisions, and I can't even begin to tell you how many commercial ones. When I was building Mandeville, we had to core through the ground, through the hard pan, going down 25 foot deep, because even with 3 well point systems, I couldn't pull the water down enough to put a lift station in. We need people that know drainage hand-on. We need people that know land development hand-on. We need people that have experience. Working for a company is not going to give you experience. It gives you the illusion of experience. It's like babysitting your sister's children as to having children. I have that experience.
Thanks, Ruth. Appreciate it.
Can you hear me? So I'm Yvonne Harper, candidate for District 4 County Commission, and I am probably of all the candidates the least likely to have been a candidate. I am a Navy veteran. I served 7 years in the United States Navy, was honorably discharged, and then I began supporting my husband in his Navy service. He just recently retired after 30 years of honorable service in the United States Navy. I have my daughter Shelby, or I should say our daughter Shelby, and our son Garen, who we have raised in different countries and in different cities across the state and across the world. So the reason I say I'm the least likely of candidates is I never sought out a political office. I have a bachelor's in political science. I have a master's in public policy. So yes, I'm a little geekish when it comes to government. I do enjoy the study of government. I believe in our constitutional republic. The first 3 words in our preamble written by Gouverneur Morris are "we the people." In order to form a more perfect union, to establish a constitutional republic. That is what we have. So what does that mean? It means we elect people to represent us and make policies on our behalf. It means that government is to be very strictly defined within the role of the Constitution. And of course, I could stand up here as an American government teacher and spend hours talking how that role of federalism has been reversed and states have lost their sovereignty, and all politics being local somehow doesn't really mean anything anymore because so much of our lives is controlled by the federal government. However, I decided to run for office. I've always been involved with writing letters and sending emails and phone calls, be it from Japan or Tampa, Florida. It doesn't really matter. And serving my country, I understand the sacrifices that people make, and I know firsthand the effect that policies make on people's lives. So in 2009, we moved to Santa Rosa County. I'm taking care of my family while my husband's still forward deployed in Japan. I'm volunteering at Western Bar Intermediate School where my son attended school. And eventually I became a reporter, and I became well versed in the issues of Santa Rosa County, and I realized that we are not being represented. I realized that the policy making is not happening. There's no long-term plans. And I realized that people have a tendency to not always be very honest when they are making policies or when they are campaigning. And there are two people that I need to give a shout out, and that is Rob Williamson and Commissioner Dawn Salter, who are the founding members of the Vets to VA program. Contrary to what has been put out there, as a veteran, I don't need to bolster my credentials by saying something that is not true. Those are the founding members of that Vets to VA. They're the ones who started that, and we need to give credit where credit is due. Thank you.
Okay, the first question, of course, is about the Judicial Center, in your opinion.
This goes back to public policy, in my opinion. I support the bar and property on 90, and the reason being is when the bids were submitted to the county and the bid off P Ridge was opened, some weird things kind of happened along the way, and another entity came and got involved in that picture. At that point, the county should have just ended the negotiations right away, because the bid was accepted from the bank, not a third party. And that's a standard, that's a policy that's not in place for some reason in this county. And I think that is important to have that in place. And I do support the bar and property. However, people have to decide for themselves. I understand the desire to have it in Milton, but maybe it's because I'm an outsider and I've only been here since 2009, but I think the city of Milton could be so much more if that courthouse is gone, and it gives those people the ability, the city of Milton, the ability to really develop a way to grow that area. But I don't go to the city of Milton to look at a courthouse, but if there is something else there, I probably would, because it is a beautiful, beautiful area on a beautiful river.
Okay, and the second question was regarding the TDC.
The Florida statute clearly sets forth what the Tourist Development Council is, and the governing body that it falls under the authority of. And the governing body for Santa Rosa County is the county commissioners. So with the TDC, whenever the bed tax was implemented, the Tourist Development Council had to be created under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. I don't think that bringing it in-house is the answer. I think the answer is to create very clear guidelines for the Tourist Development Council on that bed tax money. That bed tax money can only be spent on very specific items. And so the county commissioners need to sit down with their representatives on the board, or not their representatives, but they need to sit down with the individuals who have been selected to serve on those councils and develop a plan of how to bring the county together and how to really improve tourism in this area, because it's been noted before that this county is diverse. You've got Blackwater, you've got the beaches, you've got zip line. I mean, there are so many great reasons to come to this county, but they need the guidance from the commissioners.
Okay, and the last question is, with all the stuff that I read out earlier, what experience do you have to bring to the table to help solve these problems as elected commissioner?
You have no idea how many pages and pages and pages of legislation and regulations I had to read in order to earn my master's with honors, by the way. Part of it is knowing what the regulations are. Part of it is knowing which agencies deal with which problem, and then knowing the policies and the laws and the regulations with those agencies. And it's understanding how that needs to be incorporated into county government. With stormwater drainage, you do have the DEP, but you also have other agencies. And the county doesn't need to just focus on one area when it comes to stormwater drainage. The county needs to develop a county-wide plan. Now, I know that's a tough decision, and chances are it will mean maybe a tax increase. It will mean higher spending, but we're spending more along the way to fix it piecemeal than if we would develop a comprehensive plan and implement it county-wide. And that's part of the responsibilities of being a county commissioner, is not to think about the next election, but to make those tough decisions and to work with the agencies and to work with staff to develop those plans. Thank you.
I've attended every Tea Party forum that's ever been held, and I know you like to ask very straightforward questions, sometimes very provocative questions. So I'll tell you the same thing that I told the group that I made my campaign announcement to 1 year ago. It is true, I am a recovering alcoholic with a past bankruptcy from 3 years ago, personal bankruptcy. But I have never had a business fail. And I can't answer questions about those things in 60 seconds. But if you're interested in staying after tonight and asking me straight questions, then I'm interested in giving you just direct answers. And I'll stay to the last questions asked. But ask yourself, can you really know what type of husband I am, father I am, leader I am, have been, or will be? Can you possibly understand the personal adversity that I've overcome to stand in front of you tonight because you've looked at my clerk of court's records? or listen to what somebody has posted on Facebook? I hope not. I hope that isn't what you're basing your decision tonight on. I hope you're basing it on what I have done in this community for the last 10 years. I'm asking for your vote tonight because I'm ready to lead.
Okay, and our first question is about the judicial center.
Yeah, I would not have picked the Pea Ridge site, and I would not have picked the site next to the jail. As we continue to grow as a county, there's some other place that's going to need to expand, and that's the jail. We have no administration space left, and we have no storage space left. So I would not put the facility there either. Something else I would not do, I certainly wouldn't change my opinion to pander to this group or any other one to try to get votes. I'm the only one that has come out publicly and said, at a very early point, before the mayor of the city of Milton decided to form his committee to look at keeping the courthouse in downtown Milton, that I believe the courthouse should be in downtown Milton. Let me ask you, just because your government tells you that we need to buy property to put it in downtown Milton, do you believe them? Because if you read the support material as I have from 99 and 2000 and the most recent needs study, I can tell you that is not necessary. It will not flood if we put it at the right elevation, as Commissioner Melvin suggested, and it's the best property, I believe, for the long term for Santa Rosa County. I don't believe you build urban cores and communities by taking industry and jobs out of the urban core.
Okay, and the second question was regarding the TDC.
Yeah, maybe when our TDC was, doing 40 million or 50 million as an industry countywide, but now we're up over 113 million countywide. And at this point, I think we still need to keep the TDC in fact, because as Mr. Broxson said, we need to make sure that we've got local input. That's very important. But we also need to realize that if this TDC director is going to be reporting to the county administrator, then the county administrator probably ought to have some hand in that person being hired, don't you think? We're a $113 million industry now. I think it's time that we had a professional TDC director brought in now that Kate is retiring. She's done an unbelievable job and has worked tirelessly to grow our TDC. But the reason it has grown in the last few years is because we've had $500 million of BP money, which runs out this year. What we need is somebody that can get in there and lead that group when that BP money runs out, which is coming right around the corner. We are a three-trick pony. But right now we're a 5-month tourism season, and I'd like to see us expanding to a 10-month tourism season. And that's possible.
And the last question is, what experience do you have to bring to the table to solve the problems that I spoke about earlier if you're elected?
Well, as far as regulations go, it's absolutely ridiculous. The EPA, the DEP, strong-arming us out of our lands. I mean, it's absolutely nuts what's going on with regulation. I deal with it as a small business owner every day. But I will say this. I talked to Don Salter tonight on the way in, and Ralph Massesson as well. Ms. Harper is correct. I was not a founding member of the Vets to VA. And as soon as I found out that I was only one of the first members and not a founding member, I immediately put out a Facebook post stating the same. And I went ahead and had my website changed, and my campaign collateral changed to reflect that I'm just a member. And I'm still very proud of the work that I've done on that group. And I can stand here and tell you that I've been fortunate enough to have been appointed to more leadership positions in this county than the other 5 candidates combined. I don't say that to brag. I say that because I'm running for office, and it's incumbent upon me to let you know what my qualifications are. And I would like to say that you might want to quit banging on somebody else's service when you've lived here for 5 years and you've never served in a leadership position once.
I'd like to
Thank
ask
you.
you a question. If you sat on the zoning board...
Are we going to allow this? Is this what we're going to allow?
Excuse me,
That's what we
everybody. Excuse me.
I'll be well aware of answering questions after we're done tonight.
Zoning board
Everybody,
representative must resign within
ma'am.
30 days. You speak of
Ma'am.
integrity, but you did not resign within 30 days of moving
Excuse
outside
me.
of District 2. And you knew...
You don't know the rules. They're allowed
Yes,
one.
I do.
Okay, please,
Let's
please,
stop.
please.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do not do this at the Tea
I'm
Party.
sorry, but...
I was hoping that you would, but
Well-
that's disappointing.
Everybody has the opportunity to speak, and everybody out here that I know in this group and those that I don't know, I think are very smart enough to figure out and to do your research and to know who you want to vote for. What we had here tonight is people giving their opinions and giving their platforms. But I would like to, on another note, I would like to thank every one of you for coming out, because I know it's part of your time. I would like to thank everybody that's in the audience for coming out, and some of the people here that are running for office and said they would stay around a little while. It might be a little noisy, as I said. We would like to have some assistance with the chairs putting up. We have to be out of here by 9 o'clock, so you have a little bit of time to talk to these candidates. Thank you very much. Let's give everybody a hand for coming out tonight.